After the fist-pumping action and shocking deaths that was the 5th episode, Night, the Acolyte brings things back down with episode 6, Teach, Corrupt. And then in episode 7, Choice, we see the flip side of the flashback episode, Destiny. G'day, I'm RJ. Welcome to the Nerdy Dad channel. We've made it to the end of the Acolyte. There's only one episode left to go, but I'm no longer sure how I feel about the series. So let's dig in and talk about episodes 6 and 7, Teach, Corrupt, and Choice. Because my God, there were some choices made, some that I liked and some that I didn't. So let's dive in. Mask. Possibly the best, and definitely the most intriguing moment of the entire 6th episode is the last moment, when Osha puts on the stranger's mask. Partially because we don't know what she's seeking. She's definitely seeking a reconnection with the Force. But is she seeking a path to the dark side? Or is she calming her mind to re-find and reconnect with the light? Ultimately, we now only have one episode left to find out which. Mother. The coolest and possibly the best moment of this episode was the fight between Kalnaka and his fellow Jedi. However, the moment with the most impact was the death of Mother Anastasia. I have a lot of problems with this episode, including the events that led to Mother Anastasia's death. But for all this episode's faults, there's no doubt that this death had an impact. I didn't make a review. I didn't have a discussion last week because I didn't think much one way or the other about episode 6. Teach, Corrupt, after the heart-pumping action of Night, we had to step back a bit, and it did so. It took the heat off. Well, at least for me as a straight guy, it took the heat off. Apparently, some people liked this. Up until episode 7, I really, really liked the character of Sol. He is warm, empathetic. He takes action. He's coded as being very much like Qui-Gon Jinn, and I love it. But in the episode Choice, he comes off as creepy, weird, needy, kind of almost pedophilic, although there's no sexual, so not that, but just creepy and weird and overbearing. Yes, he genuinely thought Osha was in danger. And I suppose if you're raised, and this I suppose comes down to the weakness of the Jedi, if you're raised to believe you're always right and you are there to take action, then you're going to dive into situations without any sort of the usual social niceties. But to me, it was just so weird and out of left field because for the first, and again, he is older in the earlier episodes, but he acted, well, at least to me, it felt like he acted out of character. Obviously, he was younger, brasher, and I would hope, and it looks like he took lessons out of the massive mistakes that he made on Brendok. But, you know, and I've said the whole way along that, you know, this character's so good, so good, so good, but are we still going to like this character after we find out what happened on Brendok? Are we still going to like this character after we find out what happened on Brendok? And the answer is, I still like his character in the current day of the story. In the main storyline, I like Master Sol. But the other thing I've been constantly saying is this whole series balances on what happened on Brendok being something compelling, something I could sink my teeth into, because after all these episodes of building up, what happened on Brendok? What happened on Brendok? We found out what happened on Brendok. And it was kind of shit. I didn't particularly like episode 7. And you know what? It made the Jedi as an institution, and the fact that they don't take action and they hang back, it made that look good. When Qui-Gon took action, we cheered. When in the Clone Wars, when Anakin takes action, well, we cheer, but we also go, well, we know where this is going. So now, also as a person who's not as young as I was when I watched the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, I'm appreciating more the fact that the Jedi do not instantly dive in and take action. Maybe Qui-Gon is not in the right to dive in and do what the Council doesn't want. Maybe Dooku's in the wrong. Because you see, the people who take action against the Council's wishes, Qui-Gon is the exception, but he also died young. Anakin, we cheer when he takes action against the Council. Dooku, we see in Tales of the Jedi, thinks that the Council is too entwined, rightfully thinks that he's too entwined with the Republic. The Republic is corrupt. All of these things are true. But when he takes action, what path does that lead Dooku down? The dark side. Master Soul does not turn to the dark side. Master Soul, I believe, is a genuinely good character. Good person as well as good character. Although I believe at the core, Anakin before he turned, but he was always possessive. And this is the thing, Master Soul, for all his honestly, I don't believe he honestly believed Osha was in danger, which makes his actions, I suppose, a little less creepy, but still creepy. He takes action but is possessive. He is headed down the path of the dark side, not listening to the Council. And as I said, his character later on, obviously he did not go that way. But I don't know. I did not like this turn, or I did not like this backstory for a character that I genuinely liked. I did not like the way things went down on Brendok at all. Now, what did I like? The fact that the Jedi were not there to hunt the witches. The Jedi were there to investigate why life was returning to a planet that had been barren since the Great Hyperspace Disaster. High Republic fans, you know what that disaster was, and it's great. I like to see that coming back. I like to see that one of the planets that was obviously not completely destroyed, but made barren by that disaster, is starting to come back. Do the witches have something to do with it? Do they not? I mean, obviously the implication is the witches have something to do with it. Obviously the implication is whatever made Osha and May is related to what brought life back to the planet. And that was driven by the witches. By the way, what are the witches? I mean, we know they're not Night Sisters. We know they have a different view of the Force than the Jedi. So why are they witches? Are they just other Force users? Or do they use magic like the Night Sisters and the other witches of Dathomir seem to do? Anyway, back into my likes and dislikes of... No, I just didn't like what happened in Brendok all together. Mother Anastasia, what was that? What was she doing? Look, it's clear that Master Soul was wrong, or not a master at that point, but Soul was wrong to stab her, that she wasn't doing anything aggressive. Clear to us, not clear to him. It's spooky. she starts to turn to mist and the child turns to mist too. Was she trying to, was that a teleportation? It's a very slow teleportation. It just looked horrifying, but I don't know what the hell she was trying to do, but it just, I don't know. It seemed like obviously it was a reflexive move, but it just seemed like something stupid. Obviously Torben's moves were stupid, impulsive, but he's young. He's a Padawan, so it's not just coded as young. He is meant to be young and stupid and fearful after his mind was invaded. That is something I did like about the episode. I liked showing the way Mother Anastasia invaded his mind. That was really creepy, really cool. There was a lot of really creepy, really cool iconography in this episode. I just didn't like the story. I didn't like the resolution of what happened on Brendok. I don't think it paints the witches in a good light. I think it paints the Jedi that were on that planet in a worse light. I don't think it paints the Jedi as an institution in a bad light. In fact, the council said to not go in, to not engage, to not take the children. So to me, it paints the council in a good light. The Jedi as an institution in a good light. It makes Master Solon, Torben, kind of crappy. And again, this is a character who this show had told me to like. And it turns out what he did, yes, it was a series of unfortunate events. Things spiraled out of control. But it was really his fault. And I've watched two types of commentary. I'm very late with my discussions, so I have listened to other discussions. And some, come down on the side of things just spiraled out of control. And others come down on, no, he was in the wrong. He was, a lot of people use, the colonizer. No, I'm a white male. Obviously, colonizing wasn't the first thing I thought of, but I don't know. It was terrible behavior by the character, but I just also didn't like how it was written or acted or directed. This is the first episode of the series where the fact that English is not Lee Jong-jae's first language maybe was an issue. I don't know. There's something about the way he came off. It's creepy and not right, and I just don't like the way the story turned, and I don't like the way he was portrayed. And again, I don't know how much is the writing, how much is the directing, how much is the acting. But yeah, I didn't like this character turn. I did not like the way this episode went. And given that I said this whole series is going to pivot around how good this reveal was, I'm now iffy on the series. As I said, episode 6 for me was just okay. Episode 7, I really did not like. We only have the finale to go, guys. So let's hope it's good. May the Force be with you. This is the Nerdy Dad, signing out.